Chiefs Kingdom, we might have a reunion on our hands. A former Super Bowl champ. A former third-round pick. 6 feet. 324 pounds of pure nose tackle power. And according to a new report titled, Former Chiefs 6 foot, 324-pound third-round draft pick all clear for reunion, the door might be open for Khalen Saunders to come back to Kansas City. Yeah, you heard that right. Big Bink himself could be lining up next to Chris Jones at Arrowhead again. No, this is not a done deal. This is not Saunders has signed with the Chiefs. But the path is there. The cap math works. The contract situation works. And the scheme fit is obvious. So in today's video, we're breaking down exactly what this all clear for a reunion really means. What Khalen Saunders would bring back to this defense right now. How it affects the D-line rotation, the locker room, and future cap moves. And whether Brett Veach should pick up the phone today. If you love Chiefs rumors, if you love Super Bowl memories, and if you're riding with us on the push to 5,000 subs, hit that like button. Make sure you're subbed to Kansas City Chiefs today. And let's talk about a potential Khalen Saunders reunion with the Kingdom. Let's start with the basics. Khalen Saunders isn't just some random veteran defensive tackle floating around the league. This is a former third-round pick of the Kansas City Chiefs. Drafted 84th overall back in 2019. Listed at 6 feet tall and 324 pounds. Undersized in height. Massive in leverage and power. Saunders came out of Western Illinois with that Aaron Donald of the FCS type buzz. Ridiculous athleticism for a big man. We're talking backflips at the Senior Bowl. We're talking movement skills that should not exist in a guy over 320 pounds. From day one, he was a culture fit. The smile, the swagger, the energy on the sideline. And Chiefs Kingdom embraced him right away. On the field, he grew up in Steve Spagnuolo's system. Learning how to two-gap, how to anchor against double teams, how to rush from the interior next to Chris Jones. He wasn't an instant Pro Bowler, but he became an important rotational body on 2 Super Bowl teams. He learned what championship defense looks like. He learned what January football feels like at Arrowhead. And those experiences matter for a reunion, because you're not just bringing back a name. You're bringing back a guy who already knows the standards here. Saunders' time in Kansas City had ups and downs. Injuries slowed him down in 2020 and 2021. We saw elbow issues. We saw knee issues. We saw stretches where he was a healthy scratch behind other linemen. But then he flashed again, especially in 2022. That season, he started to look like the disruptive nose tackle the Chiefs always hoped he would be. He brought pressure up the middle. He chased down screens. He made some big-time stops in key spots. And then came free agency. Saunders cashed in. He earned a payday, and he deserved it. He left Kansas City as a 2-time champion, signed with the New Orleans Saints, and later was moved again to the Jacksonville Jaguars as teams adjusted schemes and rosters. Through all of that, though, one thing never changed. Chiefs Kingdom still had love for Khalen Saunders. The backflips, the energy, the big stops, the wild personality on social media. That stuff sticks with fans. So when a new report says, all clear for reunion, it hits different. Because this is not some aging vet with no history here. This is family. So what does all clear for reunion actually mean in NFL terms? It usually means 3 things. First, contract flexibility. The player's current deal is either expiring, or it's structured in a way where a trade or release is realistic without massive dead money. Second, mutual interest. The article headline is not saying the Chiefs have signed Saunders, but it suggests that if both sides want the reunion, there's no huge obstacle in the way. No giant cap hit. No ugly buyout. No impossible guaranteed money situation. Third, fit. This isn't just player is available. This is player is available and the original team still makes sense as a landing spot. For Saunders, that checks out. He knows Spag's system. He knows the locker room culture. He knows what is expected in practice and on game day. That's a massive head start compared to bringing in an outside veteran who's never set foot in Arrowhead's home locker room. So when Heavy drops a headline like that, it's basically your alarm bell. It's saying, hey Chiefs fans, if a reunion is going to happen, the runway is clear. The question shifts from, can it happen? To, should it happen? And that's what we're about to dive into next. Let's talk football. Strictly on field. Is a Khalen Saunders reunion good business for the Chiefs right now? The short answer, yeah. It makes a lot of sense. First, think about the interior of this defensive line. You still want Chris Jones wreaking havoc as your star. But what has always helped Jones be his best? Big, strong, space-eating bodies next to him that can stop the run, hold double teams, and still give you just enough pass rush juice so offenses can't slide everything to number 95. That's exactly the mold Saunders fits. He's not a pure pass rush specialist. He's not a three-technique quick-twitch guy who's winning with a million finesse moves. He's your low center of gravity nose tackle. He's your sit in the A-gap and dare you to move me type of dude. When he's right, he can anchor versus double teams. He can muddy up inside run lanes. He can make life miserable for centers and guards. And that's something every version of a Spagnuolo defense has valued. You think back to names like Derek Nady, Mike Pennell, Jarran Reed at times. The Chiefs like having a physical nose that lets Chris Jones hunt. Saunders, at his peak, absolutely fits that bill. Another key thing, durability and rotation. This defense is at its best when Spags can roll bodies, keep guys fresh, win late in drives, win late in games, win late in the season when other teams' fronts are gassed. Adding Saunders back into the mix gives you more flexibility. You can play heavier on early downs. You can keep Jones fresher for third and long. You can get creative with your NASCAR fronts and stunts. Picture this. 3rd and 2 against the Ravens in a playoff game at Arrowhead. Saunders lined up over the center. Jones shaded off the guard. 2 edges walked up on the outside. The crowd is loud. You've got an interior wall that's not easy to move. That's where a guy like Saunders earns his money. Short yardage, goal line, late game 4-minute defense. Those are the snaps that don't always show up on stat sheets. But they win you rings. Let's zoom out on his career arc for a second. With the Chiefs, Saunders' raw stat totals were never crazy. But we saw the flashes. We saw the quick wins in the run game. We saw the timely sacks and pressures in 2022. Then with his next team, he got more snaps and showed he could hold up as a starter. That's important, because now you're not just getting a rotational young guy back. You're potentially getting a more mature version. A guy who has started, played in different systems, faced different run schemes, handled different coaching styles. A more complete professional. That version of Saunders coming back to Kansas City is different from the one that left. He's not just upside and traits anymore. He's experience plus traits. That matters when you drop him into a championship locker room. One more angle here. Red zone defense. Every year, the Chiefs are in big games where one red zone stop swings everything. We've seen it. A tackle for loss on 2nd and goal. A stuff on 4th and 1. The pressure that forces a hurried throw. Having a strong, explosive nose tackle who understands leverage down there is huge. And that's where Saunders' body type and play style shine. Low center of gravity. Thick lower body. Good quickness for his size. He can win that pad level battle. And that's everything at the goal line. Now, let's talk money and roster math. A reunion like this only makes sense if the numbers are workable. The good news. We're not talking about a $15 million per year defensive tackle. Saunders is a solid veteran, a valuable rotational piece, maybe a spot starter depending on the room, but he's not going to command true number 1 defensive tackle money. That gives Brett Veach flexibility. You can structure a 1-year, prove-it style deal. You can add void years if you need to spread cap hits. You can load it with playtime and playoff incentives. From a roster standpoint, you're asking one big question. Do we want to use a spot on a known, proven veteran? Or roll that spot on a late-round rookie or practice squad body? For a team in win-now mode with Patrick Mahomes in his prime, the answer is obvious most of the time. You lean proven. You lean chemistry. You lean, we know exactly what this guy is in January. That Saunders, he's not a mystery box. You know what you're getting. And that's valuable when your window is open and you're going for another Lombardi. Let's talk about how this hits the fan base. Because reunions aren't just about film and cap sheets. They're about feel. And Khalen Saunders just feels like a Chiefs guy. A lot of fans never wanted him to leave in the first place. He was one of those glue personalities. Always smiling. Always hyping up the crowd. Always hyping up his teammates. You saw him dancing on the sideline. You saw him celebrating tackles like they were sacks. That stuff matters to fans. So when rumors pop that the runway is clear for him to return, Chiefs Kingdom reacts. You've got one group of fans saying, "Sign him yesterday." They remember the flashes. They remember the playoff moments. They want as many familiar faces as possible around Mahomes and Jones. You've got another group a little more cautious. They say, "We love the guy, but we've drafted young D tackles too." They worry about blocking snaps for younger, cheaper players. They ask fair questions. Does this stunt development? Is this the best use of resources? Both perspectives are valid. That's why this kind of reunion is so interesting. The media reaction is similar. You'll see some analysts frame it as a low-risk, high-reward move. They'll say, "Look, you're not signing him to be prime Aaron Donald. You're signing him to be a solid rotational piece with upside." Others will dig into the tape. They'll want to see, is that 2022 disruption still there? Has he kept the same burst? Is he still moving like a 300-plus pound gymnast? Or has he lost some of that juice? All fair questions. But here's the key. In Kansas City, the expectations and the environment are different. A player like Saunders doesn't have to be the guy. He just has to be one more problem in a room full of problems for opposing offenses. There's another angle to this reunion, and that's the locker room. This Chiefs team has quietly done a great job keeping a tight culture. Leaders like Mahomes, Kelsey, Chris Jones, Thuney, guys who set the tone every single day. When you add anyone to that group, especially mid-career veterans, you want a certain vibe. You want pros. You want energy. You want guys who elevate the room, not drain it. Saunders has always been that type of dude. Teammates have talked about his positivity, his energy in practice, his willingness to work through injuries and battle back. You're not just adding a depth piece. You're adding a known good personality, a guy that fits with this core. That matters more than people realize, especially over a long season. Through injuries, through adversity, through those random December trap games. Having players who bring juice in meetings and on the sideline is huge. So when Chiefs fans hear about a possible Saunders reunion, they're not just thinking run defense. They're thinking about the fun, the celebrations, the energy at Arrowhead. And in a weird way, that's part of why this rumor has legs. It just feels right. So after all the nostalgia and all the film talk, we land on the big question. Should the Kansas City Chiefs actually pursue a reunion with Khalen Saunders? Let's weigh it out. On the pro side, you get a familiar player. You get scheme familiarity. You get championship experience. You get a run defender with pass rush flashes. You get a good locker room presence. And you probably get all of that on a relatively affordable veteran deal. On the con side, you are using a roster spot and snaps that could go to a young guy. You are betting that his body still holds up and the explosiveness is still there. You are taking on a player who has had some injury history. But in my opinion, for a team in the Mahomes window, the pros outweigh the cons. You're not signing him to a 5-year mega deal. You're signing him to help you in the next 1 to 2 years. You're signing him to help you in January and February. That's the timeline that matters right now. If the medicals check out, if the contract expectations are reasonable, and if the interest is mutual, this is a move that absolutely makes sense for Kansas City. It's not as splashy as a blockbuster trade, but sometimes championships are decided by quiet moves like this. Adding one more solid, trusted body on the interior to get you one more stop in a playoff game. So Chiefs Kingdom, what do you think? Should Brett Veach make the call and bring Khalen Saunders back home? Do you want that 6-foot, 324-pound former third-round pick plugging the middle at Arrowhead again? Do you see him as a key piece of another Super Bowl run? Or do you want to roll with the youth movement on the defensive line and keep every snap open for the next wave? I want to hear from you. Is this reunion a must, a maybe, or a hard pass? Drop your thoughts. Drop your ideal contract numbers. Drop your dream defensive line rotation down in the comments. Because at the end of the day, this channel is built for the fans. We're on the grind every day covering Chiefs news, rumors, recaps, and breakdowns. And we're on a community mission right now. The push to 5,000 subs here on Kansas City Chiefs today. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss any breaking news on this story. If a Khalen Saunders reunion becomes official, you know we'll have an emergency video ready for you. Until then, keep that Arrowhead energy high. Keep believing in this defense. And keep riding with us here on the channel. Drop your takes in the comments and join the road to 5,000 subs here on Kansas City Chiefs today.